Ready Player One is a book by Ernest Cline, and that's all you need in order to start the book. Except for all of this background information. The Atari 2600 classic arcade cabinets, Greek gods, the story of King Arthur, Star Wars, Back to the Future, Mad Max, Indiana Jones, Bon Jovi, Van Halen, Half-Life, Pink Floyd, AC/DC, Lord of the Rings, The Goonies, Superman, Time, Superman, Black Dwarf, Warriors, Time, Industry, 99, Brazil, Vegas, World Arcade, Later, Focus, Breakfast, Fair, Matrix, Roots, Twilight, Max, Justice, Jason, Night, Sonic, Sonic, Tron, E.T., Dungeons & Dragons, Dungeons & Dragons, Nightmare, Wizard of Oz, Rocky Horror, the X-Men, and classic home computers, and yes, that is somehow all essential. So if you already have some extreme fixation on the 1980s, congrats! You now have a chance of being God in the metaverse. And if you can't recite every movie listed beat for beat, you have about 15 years to catch up. But also, society is going to collapse in the meanwhile, so go prep for that too. Okay, so how did we get here exactly? So, James Halliday is a trillionaire game designer and creator of the virtual reality game known as the Oasis. The Oasis becomes the basis for all life on Earth because of the crushing reality outside of it. There's a constant war between two corporations, Gregarious Games, Halliday's company, and IOI, the company that controls everything else in reality, because, fiction. Halliday dies before the story begins, but we see in a broadcast he hid an Easter egg somewhere in the Oasis locked behind 3 keys, and the first person to find it would become the single benefactor of his inheritance, including control of the Oasis. Which, when we consider how essential the Oasis is, from school to work to romance, family gatherings to entertainment, basically means it's a race to become God. Namely, between 2 major factions. Individual egg hunters, or gunters, and IOI, that evil corporation before that already controls everything else. Because, fiction. And you're cut up to speed now. Congrats! Now, realistically, here's the part where I tell you to go read, since you really should be able to find the themes for yourself in the work. That's why the movie was as bad as it was, other than misplaced references. Nice work, Steven. However, by instructions, we have some lessons to discuss, but I do implore you to read the book, especially if you know anything about that reference list from before. Anyhow, what can we actually take away from the book? Well, let's see. Page 3, iPad kids are bad, we already know that. Page 17, Santa isn't real. Explained a lot of issues, honestly. Page 31, the school system is severely underfunded. Page 32, systems roundly abused. The only people who can get elected are actors and televangelicals. Fiction is crazy. Oh, here's that section on how that random girl you met online is totally real, and not some random 50-year-old guy. And you should totally pursue her entirely online. Well, going page by page isn't going to get us much of anywhere, so here, let's go back to the beginning with that pop culture list. Here, you remember this graphic? Here, I'll rewind it for you. Let's play a game. How many of those can you name? Probably tired of playing this game after Marvel started the multiverse trend, or after the 13th unfunny Minion meme your grandma sent you. There's some beauty in that, no? That your grandparents somehow know what the Minions are, and that you do too? Somehow they're universal. Language is easily one of our greatest inventions, but what is culture if not just a language of icons? If Ready Player One teaches us anything, it teaches us to appreciate our culture. If people can use it to connect in this, then we can use it to connect in this. We shouldn't take it for granted. Speaking of which, the book really shows not to take anything we have or know for granted. If we've learned anything this semester, it's that realistically, the world could fade away in 15 minutes, or 2 weeks, or a fraction of time we can't even comprehend. We only have a finite amount of time, and every second of that time is precious to spend doing the things that matter to us. Maybe that's doing things for ourselves, like simply breathing the air, or taking care of our bodies, or simply just finding our passions. Or maybe that's doing things for the people we care about, spending time with family, with friends, meeting new people, finding love, just experiencing the social life humans, to our knowledge, are meant to live. Time is too short to be taken for granted, and we often take the fact we have people close to us for granted until it's too late, one way or another. And the moment we let any of it go for even just a second, it all fades away. It's important to be able to treasure everything we have and know, because it may not be there the next minute. And for today's final lesson, reality. Not in the, oh, well, what defines reality way. Anything but, really. Arguably, the book shows that we need to stop worrying about defining reality, or making new ones at that. Yes, the science fiction book says the big new invention in it is bad. I'm sure you're all shocked by that revelation this late into the week. Ready Player One takes on the argument that we should simply learn to embrace our reality. The reality. VR is great. The Oasis is all fine and dandy. You can hook up so many sensors to imitate experiences. But at the end of the day, none of that is real. And while we don't understand what reality is fully, and hopefully never will, we know it's what we know is real. It's all of our senses. Yet, we all agree something is there. Sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, balance, movement, and our introspection, making sense of whatever's actually out there. And that, above all else, is sometimes the most important thing of all. That there is somethingness. Something that we all exist within. Some place where we all are. And we should find beauty and fulfillment in that reality. and we should treasure it, as for all we know, that's all we truly have. We can create any number of other realities, but at the end of the day, there's only one of each of us in this one, and we should all take that responsibility in stride. We don't have some insane multiverse or weird timeline shenanigans or anything fancy like that. We don't even know if there's other life out beyond Earth. We have one self. Every person we care about exists as a single entity. There's only one of any tree, one of every dog, one of every ant, one of every berry, one of any second. And all of that exists in the one reality we know, and the only one our senses have, well, made any sense of. And above all else, it's a thing we take for granted the most. In the arcade of life, we only get one quarter to play one game. The arcade is full of cabinets, and you can choose which game to play and how you play it. Maybe we have to join the quarter queue, but it'll make playing all the more fun. Maybe we're skilled enough to play to the end of that game. Or maybe some random ghost or barrel or invader takes us down partway through. But the most important thing is that we make sure whatever we make of that quarter is the most fun, most treasured time we can possibly have. So, that being said, is that the most important lesson of the book? That we should treasure our reality and everything in it, as that's the only everything we'll likely ever be able to have? Or is it just to get very good at Pac Man? I'm not sure, but I'm not taking any chances. So, go get a book, find a Pac Man arcade cabinet, start messaging that e-girl, and happy hunting. Go enjoy reality, folks. With the rate of inflation right now, it'll cost $1 per play before you know it. So go out there and make the most of your quarter. And again, if you take anything away from this video, don't watch the movie. Why is The Shining here?